Hey there, it's Spencer Hughes, and thanks a lot for being here on my YouTube. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hopefully you will by the end of the video if you haven't by now. I want to address a comment that someone left on another social media platform of mine, which will remain nameless, TikTok. And I can go a little bit deeper into the weeds, if you will, on YouTube. It's a little friendlier to longer form content than TikTok is. So I am happy to answer the question a little more fully here. And it's a great question. It presupposes some things that I'm going to correct here, but the question of pitter-patter of dogs endlessly in the house. Sorry for all the extra noise, but here we go. So the question was, I know you ghost hunt, Spencer, and I'm wondering how you can believe in ghosts and not believe in God. Well, first of all, I never said I don't believe in God. I just don't believe in the God of the Bible anymore. So people get really, really defensive about that, and they assume that because you don't believe in their God, that you're automatically an atheist that doesn't believe in any God. I actually didn't correct them on that other video, so I have to go back and do that. It's not that I don't believe in God, but anyway, just because I do paranormal investigations doesn't necessarily mean I believe in the stuff that I'm pursuing, right? I mean, he's presupposing that I believe in ghosts because I ghost hunt. Not necessarily. There are people, I go on Bigfoot expeditions. I'm very, very agnostic on that because I don't know if there's a Bigfoot out there or not. I know that thousands of people for thousands of years have seen them allegedly, but I know to this day there are no hair samples, there are no bones, there are no caves that they live in that we found, there's no carcass, there's no somebody posing like Harry and the Hendersons right next to one. So I don't know if they're real or not. So just because I investigate something doesn't necessarily mean I believe in it hook, line, and sinker. I could just be curious. I could be wanting to get to the truth myself. Same way I was a Christian for all those years, asking a lot of questions over the span of 40 years, and I still read the Bible every day. I dive deep into the Bible every day for about 20 minutes, and the more I read it, the more I'm glad that I deconstructed and I'm no longer a Christian. That's just my own personal experience. But let's go back to that. We lived in a house in Northern California for 11 years that had paranormal activity, unexplained activity, from pretty much the day we moved in. It started immediately. Family members at first didn't talk to each other about it. The kids were still rather young. They were growing up in this house pretty much. A lot of them were anyway. And it was a lot of strange stuff. And then when we started comparing notes, we're like, holy moly, we are multiple people in this house. 7 out of the 8 of us were witnessing this stuff independently of each other, describing the same things. Babysitters would witness it. Our in-laws would witness it. Strangers visiting the house would witness it. There was no question that something was going on. But to this day, I can't fully conclude what we witnessed. I don't know what we saw with our own eyes, if they were ghosts, some type of a time warp thing, maybe time travelers. One of the full-bodied apparitions that we saw, the main full-bodied apparition we saw, was a man who looked to be about middle age or older, and we both kind of made the observation that it looked like an older version of our oldest son. So then we started thinking, just for fun, what if this is him time traveling? What if this is not a ghost? What if this is just some kind of a blur in the fabric of reality? So big differences here, comparing a God with believing or exploring or being curious about the paranormal. I don't know what I saw. See, Christians assume that Jesus was real, assume that he died and resurrected and is the Son of God, and he's going to save us all and rapture us up, and he's going to reward the good and punish the bad, and all these assumptions based on the Bible, right? I'm not assuming anything. I ask a lot of questions, even after experiencing that house for 11 years. I have more questions than I do answers. Another big important point that I want to make, the dogs are driving me crazy. Sorry if you hear them whining in the background. They always do it when I'm recording. Here's the big difference. I'm not trying to turn our experience into a religion. I'm not trying to turn it into anything other than it was our own personal experience. I'm not trying to convince you of it. I don't really care if you believe or not. And I certainly am not trying to teach it to kids in public schools. I'm not trying to mandate that it be taught to kids in public schools. I can believe in ghosts, seances, aliens, Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, the Chupacabra, and the Boogeyman. And I'm not harming anyone because I'm not trying to shove it on our currency. I don't say we should have a law that says our money should say in Bigfoot we trust or in ghosts we trust. We have that on our currency. In God we trust. We have kids standing up and saying the Pledge of Allegiance in many school districts, saying one nation under God. I'm not pushing kids to say one nation under the paranormal. So it's a big, big difference. I'm not turning it into a religion. I'm not turning it into a cult. I'm not turning it into anything other than, hey, we experienced something really weird that to this day we have no explanation for in our home of 11 years in California. So that's a big difference. I can believe in ghosts, but I'm not shoving it onto you. I'm not trying to make it my life's mission to make sure you believe in ghosts too and things that go bump in the night. If I believe in space aliens, I believe in space aliens, let's say, or I'm curious about space aliens, but I'm not trying to indoctrinate children from the time they're a year old into believing that space aliens are real when I have no proof of it. I'm not trying to shove it into the schools that every classroom has to have pictures of aliens on the wall saying, these could be real, kids. So that's a big, big difference. You can believe anything you want as long as you don't turn it into a cult or a religion or try to legislate it on the rest of the world or the rest of the country or wherever you live. Then there's no harm. Right? There's no harm in that. So that's the big, big difference. I can believe in ghosts. I can believe in banshees. I can believe in anything I want to believe. I can believe in leprechauns leaving me a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. But I'm not forcing you to believe it, and I'm not forcing your children and grandchildren to believe it. Huge, huge difference. I'd have less of a problem with religious folks if they just kept their religions to themselves instead of trying to legislate it on the rest of us. And they're not happy with their kids learning about God in Sunday school. No one's stopping you from sending your kids to Sunday school. No one's stopping you from reading the Bible to your kids at home. Just don't read it to mine. Don't make mine learn about it. And don't shove it on the rest of the country. I live in America, and Christian nationalists have gotten control of the government, unfortunately, as many people warned they would. And they are, by the day by day, they are trying to shove this stuff down our throats. That's the big difference. You can believe whatever you want. Just don't force me to believe it or try to force my kids into believing it. Thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like the video, leave comments. I try to address all respectful comments with time, so just be patient with me. I get a lot, and I'm working on other platforms as well. So, full-time, dad and husband and employee, and social media is just kind of my hobby, but I do spend a lot of time here. I fall behind, but leave a respectful comment and I'll be sure to answer you. All right. Thanks a lot for watching.